Hello guys. My name is Jack. Today, I'll share with you the most adventurous moment of my life. Well, my whole life is full of events and adventures, but this is one of the most interesting events of my life. If you like my story and found it interesting, then like the video and subscribe to the channel. I am only and cherished son of my parents. My parents loved me very much and I have lived a life full of comfort. I'm a very carefree and sleepy boy from childhood who has to lead a free life. I did not like working at all. From the beginning, I always wanted to live an independent life until I completed my studies. My father used to fulfill my every wish. The words came out of my mouth later and he used to fulfill my wish first. He always took care of my needs. But when I completed my studies, all those comforts will be taken away from me one by one. My parents wanted me to earn my own money, do a good job and fulfill my needs with the money I earned. But I was unresponsive and I had no ambition for anything. Nor I was an expert in anything and not have a good job. I never thought about my future. My parents used to say that I should work hard and become a successful person. I wanted to do business, but I did not even know what business I wanted to do. I first asked my father for money to help me start a business, but my father flatly refused. Despite having money, he wanted me to earn money myself and start my own business. But I was a very incompetent person from the beginning and I was not within my power to do all this. I was such a careless person at that time that today, I think that if my parents had given me money for business at that time, I might have wasted all that money in my indulgences. One day, my father closed all my credit cards and stopped my monthly expenses. When I came to know that my father had closed all my credit cards and now he won't give me any monthly expenses, I got very angry and went to my father's room. I asked the reason why he was doing this all. I was talking very angrily and my father was very calmly listening to all my words, sitting on his own chair. He had a very smile on his face. He got up from his chair after listening to the words and said, "If you want to get all those assets back, prove yourself to us and be a successful person." So that we gave all these luxuries for a reason. My father had packed all my belongings. He threw me out of their house and said that you have only 1 year. If you come back as a successful person in that 1 year, you will be able to get all these assets back. I left my father's house in anger. But at that time, I had neither a place to live nor a good job. At first, I left the house very angrily and went to a friend's place. After staying there for like 2 days, I realized that without my father's money, I would not be able to stay for long. So I called my mother and told them to recommend my father for me to pay my monthly expenses. But my mother refused it. My father was a man of principles and my mother always follows my father's principle. Maybe they had loved marriage. That's why I don't know. But therefore, if principled life ruined my freedom, my father was a government employee and was in a very good post. So now he used to demand the same thing from me, that I have completed my studies in a very good school and college. So now I have to do work in a good company, but I did not go like that. I wanted to do business with my friends for which I was asking my father for money and he did not want to give me money. He wanted me to collect all the money myself, but I did not want to do a job in my company as an employee. Then there was no question of earning money myself in any kind of a careless and freedom-loving person could not do any work as an employee. But in all those situations, I had to do something as soon as possible so that my father would be happy with me and start to pay my monthly expenses. Again, I told my mother that if you give me an apartment to live in and pay only for this month's expenses, then I will find some good jobs in this 1 month and start working at my insistence. My mother decided to discuss the matter with my father and promised me that she would get my father's consent for only 1 month's expenses in an apartment. My father had 2 apartments in the city for rent. I just wanted out of the 2 apartments that he had rented out in the city, give one of them to me to live in for a few months. And when I will start my earning, I would buy an apartment for myself. On my mother's recommendation, my father agreed to give me 1 month's expenses and his apartment. He also gave me his own car so that I would not have the problem of transportation, because I was not used to for local transport. So my father gave me his car. I don't know whether my father did this all out of love for me or on my mother's recommendation. But I'm sure of one thing, that my father loves my mother much more than me. How much disappointed for me. Well, my mother is lucky woman without wasting time. I quickly picked up my stuff from my friend's house and went to the apartment given by my father. Now my residence problem was solved. But now I had to find a good job. Within a month, I contacted a friend who resolved this problem. And by his reference, I got a job according to my daily routine. I used to go to my office every day and come back home in the evening. This routine was very boring for me because I was not punctual from the beginning. But I had to do all this to please my father. In the apartment next to me lived a small family consisting of 2 older husbands and a wife with a beautiful young daughter. Her name was Lily. Whenever I used to leave my apartment for my office, she used to leave at the same time because she was also working in a very good company. So we used to have light conversations sometimes. And beyond that conversations up, we became good friends. Lily was a very good girl. Her manus showed that she was well trained and well behaved. Also, sometimes she used to drop me at my office and sometimes I used to drop her at her office. I never liked her as a girlfriend, but as a friend I respected and liked her very much somewhere. I felt like she was starting to love me. Days were passing by and the month was coming to an end. I got my first salary. So I blew it into a party with my friends. And in the same month, I did not even get my monthly allowance from my father. Within a week, I had spent all my money on my frivolous spendings, and partying this month was the worst month of my life. Or maybe my whole life changed in this month. If we say a life-changing month, we will not be wrong. One day, I got up to go to the office as usual. I started my car in the parking lot. But in my mind, I was constantly worried about how I will manage my expenses for this whole month because I did not have much money anymore. And I have to spend a whole month. I did not realize that the car behind was parked and I accidentally rammed into them. The car was Lily's father and its bumper got really damaged. Well, my car was also badly damaged, but their car would be. By the way, I drove my car away from there when Lily's father found out. He checked the recording of the camera in the parking lot. He came to know that I had damaged his car. Lily's father was a bit very strict and rude person. Why is the father of a beautiful girl so strict? Now he was asking me for money to cover the damage to his car. If I don't give them money, they will call the police. If the police comes, my father will find out everything and he will be more angry with me than before. And the monthly expenses. I will not get a single dollar from my dad to start my business. I calmed down their anger a little and asked them for a week that I would give them the money within a week. But they did not agree. And my insistence in Lily's recommendation, he gave me the time of 3 days. At first, I thought I would borrow money from a friend and pay it back with next month's salary. But I asked any of my friends for money. He completely refused me and started telling me their own compulsions. At that time, I realized no one supports you in difficult times. And there are very few people who stand by you. I love all my friends very much. But that day I got it that no one is sincere with me. I could not even get a loan from my company because I had been only working there for a month. And according to the company's rules and regulations, they cannot give a loan until their employee has worked for 6 months. I also cannot demand an advanced salary because my reputation was not very good in the company because I did not go to the office on the time and also took many leaves in a month. I told a dear friend of mine that Lily is my friend and she likes me very much. When I asked him for money, he refused it. But he put an idea into my evil mind. He told me to ask her Lily for money because she likes me. And if I show her that I also like her, she can do anything that would be possible for me. I asked Lily for help so that I could give money to her father. I knew that Lily loved me. So I made her feel that I also started to love her. At that time, I was playing with her emotions to avoid this trouble, and I did not even realize how much I became selfish. Lily gave me all the money that she had in her account to help me, and her account balance went to zero. Yes, it was my compulsion too. But playing with her feelings were a bad move. I did not realize it at all. But later I regretted it a lot. Lily used to save money from her salary every month and deposited it in her account. She wanted to buy herself a very nice personal car with that money. But she gave all that money to me. She did this because she fell in love with me. Lily's father did not like me much, but Lily made her parents for me. She really loved me a lot. Now, her father also started liking me one day. My father went to meet me in my apartment. So on that day, I found out that my father and Lily's father knew I were good friends. But now her father told my father that I fell in love with Lily and we both want to get married very soon. Whereas I was not going to do this. And I only pretended to be in love with Lily, only for money so that I could make up the loss of her father's car. My father was very, very happy to hear that I had chosen a girl for myself. My father used to say that I should propose Lily for marriage as soon as possible, but I was not going to do that now. So I put him off. But after some days, Lily proposed to me for marriage. Now I couldn't play with her feelings and was not able to act like that I love her. So I told her the whole trip that I did this all for money. After hearing this, she slapped me and came back to her apartment. Her father loved her so much that when he found out that I had cheated out, he told the whole truth to my father. When my father came to know about my mistake, he called me home and instead of cursing me, he spoke a line to me. He said, "I'm very ashamed that you are my son." These words of my father burst my heart. On the one hand, I was ashamed that I had cheated Lily. And on the other hand, I was sorry to disappoint my father. Months passed. My father did not even talk to me and he was very angry with me. I could not bear it. So I decided that I will try my best to live up to their expectations and become the person my father dreamed of me to be. I started doing my work very hard. And after a few months of continuous struggle, I got a promotion and got a good post in the same company I had earned that. I bought a separate apartment for myself and bought a car. Now I have become a successful person and also can get all the comforts of life. It took me 2 years to achieve all this. In those 2 years, I became the kind of person my father had dreamed of becoming, but I could not overcome my father's displeasure. My father's rage will disappear. When Lily forgives me, I had to apologize to Lily several times to get rid of his resentment, but she never believed me. She thought that I was doing this all for purpose and still cheating on her. But actually, I started to like her because she was so sincere to me. Her love made me love her back. And I did not understand how could I convince Lily to be my companion because she was constantly affecting me. I went to my father's house and apologized to him. When my father saw in my eyes that I was ashamed of what I had done in the past, he forgave me. Then I apologized to Lily's father when Lily realized that I had changed and apologized to his father for what I had done. So she also forgave me and I proposed Lily for marriage because she still loved me. So she accepted my proposal and we got married today. We've been married for 4 years and we have a very lovely daughter. We both are living a beautiful life. My life has changed. I love my father very much and I feel that every decision he made was better for me.